So today's video is another Q&A video, but this one's a little bit different. I've been sending some really juicy questions and some really interesting topics that I'm looking forward to discussing. So let's get into it. Just a quick thank you to everyone that sent questions into my Instagram and my YouTube community tab. There's been some really good questions and things that I'm looking forward to chatting about. So we'll get started right away. So the first question, do you get homesick or miss things like driving a car? Great question. I don't get homesick. I've lived abroad for 7 years now. I don't miss that much about Australia, but I miss family. It's funny, the older you get, the more you appreciate family and the more I wish I could see them. But that's literally the only thing I miss. I would love to drive my car, but I'm actually shopping for a car at the moment. I've been looking at a bunch online. I'm going to go look at a couple in the next week or two. I'm looking to get a Toyota Hilux, and I'm really excited for that. That's been a big motivation of me moving out of the city and moving into the suburbs, somewhere that I can just get in the car and drive around. I'm really looking forward to that stage. But in terms of being homesick or missing other things from Australia, there's nothing I can think of, just family. A quick YouTube question. What is your process for coming up with video ideas and brainstorming? For me, I come up with the title of the video first because that's the thing that people click and people have to be most interested in. So I think of the title, what will the thumbnail for that video be? And then how can I build a story around that? Because if the title's not interesting and the thumbnail's not catchy, then no one's gonna watch your video. It doesn't matter how good it is. In terms of coming up with these title ideas, they just come to me randomly. Sometimes I'll be able to sit down and think of a few. Other times it's things like music will inspire me, or I spend a lot of time walking and listening to music, and that's often when I come up with my best ideas. And for some reason, the shower is where I do my best thinking work as well. It's like a little think tank for me. A couple of questions about Hua Hin, people wanting to relocate there or what it's like. I really like Hua Hin. It's quiet, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I don't mind that it's quiet. There's just not a whole lot going on there. And if you are looking for that, then it's perfect. It's great to be a place that's by the beach, that's quiet. I don't think the beach is that amazing, but it's not terrible either. If you were looking for a slower pace of life and you want to be by the beach, then Hua Hin is awesome. There's lots of restaurants and there is a sneaky good nightlife there. I just think it's kind of limited in the experiences that you can have there. But the great thing is it's only a few hours from Bangkok, so if you do want to do certain things, you can just come spend a weekend or whatever in the city. All right, let's get into a juicy one. A couple questions about finding a girlfriend. How do you find a girlfriend? People ask, how did I find my girlfriend? And it can be really challenging here. Thailand is unique in that it's really easy to find a girl and to meet girls, but finding the right one, if you want to have a long-term relationship or settle down, that can be a lot more challenging than you would think. So ideally you want the unicorn. This is someone that speaks English, that hasn't been passed around from a bunch of foreigners, or hasn't worked in a bar before, or doesn't work in a bar currently. Someone who's educated, I guess, or got something going for them, a job, or they study or something like that. This is where it gets really difficult to find that, because where do you meet these people? A lot of the people that do speak great English here have either worked in a bar, or they're those people that just hang out and seem to be professional party goers. They don't seem to have any real profession. They just go clubbing every night. So I think the best way to meet people is either through other social circles that are outside of partying or whatever, or online is fine too. It's just you have to filter through all the crap, basically. Apps like Tinder is, Tinder's just kind of full of freelancers and people just looking to hook up. There's other apps that you can find. There's ones like, I think it's Coffee Meets Bagel, and that's aimed at people to be more serious. And there is apps like this that pop up from time to time, but what will eventually happen is guys catch wind of there being decent girls on there, so they'll all go over there, and then the ambitious girls will catch wind of the guys being on there, and then it's back to being another Tinder. So I think there's a lot of luck and a lot of timing involved with finding people online, but I do think finding people online is probably the best way. It's what I did, and really learn what red flags to look for. If they want to meet you right away or go hang out in a bar in Sukhumvit, they might not be the one. I've done entire videos on red flags to look out for in girls. So yeah, just being aware and knowing what to look for. But yeah, it's tough. It's hard to find that, we call them the unicorn, but try and find someone that's got something going for them. Either they work or they study, or they've got something going on that you don't have to support them and their family for the entire rest of your life. Basically, if you need to pay your girlfriend anything to be your girlfriend, that's not your girlfriend. Do you get sent anything from back home, or do you get everything you need from Bangkok? I don't get sent anything from back home. I pretty much get everything I need here. There's things I will, like if I'm back in Australia, I will buy like my tech stuff, like if I need a new computer or new camera equipment or whatever. I'll try and do that then, because the import tax here, the price is just higher. So there's not much else that I can't get here that I can get in Australia. My monsters, but I import them from China. But in terms of needing anything, Bangkok is a global city that pretty much has everything that you could possibly need here. Visa question, as always, will you go on the new digital nomad visa? That's tough. I really don't know. I'm still learning more about it. I'm speaking with my lawyer that I work with here. I'm just trying to get an understanding of exactly what's the best option. Currently, I'm on a business visa, and that allows me to do things here. Like if I was to make a paid video for a local company here because of my work permit, I'm doing it within the laws. There was other questions from people asking around, like, can you open an online store here, or what sort of work can you do on this digital nomad visa? Essentially, you need to be employed from a company or be working for your own company outside of Thailand, and you can't do things like open up a local store here or work for a local company here. So it is challenging. I just need to find out the best way of doing that. There are definitely benefits to being on the digital nomad visa. I think it's an awesome visa for people to get out here. Mine currently runs through until the end of the year, so I'm speaking with my visa people and legal people to just figure out what's the best option. But if you want to come out here, I do definitely recommend that visa. I think it's amazing. Would you ever buy a condo? A couple of people asked me that. There was a second part to that question, asking if I'm having a baby. I'm not having kids. That was a few people asked me that in my video about moving to a house as well. No plans for kids as of yet. Let's see what happens in the future. But in terms of buying a condo, not really. I think if I was to buy anything here, it would be a house. And I kind of like the idea of one day buying a house here. Buying a condo, I don't see the value in it. Condos depreciate here when they're new, and then, I mean, eventually they go up, but it takes time. And then if you ever want to sell it, it can be really challenging, because most condo buildings here, like mine as an example, is only 30% occupancy, and that's kind of normal within the city. So, and with the depreciation, you know, the value goes down as the building gets older because new ones get built up. I don't think owning a condo here is a great investment. If you were to live in it, then sure. But I think if I was to buy anything here, it would be a house, which is challenging, but it is still possible here as a foreigner. To do that, you need to have it in a business that's registered here's name. So yeah, there is ways to be able to do it, and there's legal people that can help you do all of that. It is a challenging process, but it's not impossible. Tying on from that, here is a great question. How much of the cost of living gone up since COVID, and where do you see it going? Gosh, it's really interesting, because some things have gone up considerably, like rent and things like that. Other things have stayed the same, basically, sort of food and daily things. My bills and stuff like that haven't changed either, which is a good thing. But I do really have concerns with this, especially around the influx of people coming over to live here, and also with this new digital nomad visa, what impact that's going to have. Because I've been noticing lately on social media, there's this fucking boring craze of people making those TikTok videos like, how much do you pay for rent in Bangkok? And people show their condos that they're living in, and the amount of people that I see that are living in condos here, and they're paying way too much for either the building they're in, or the area that they're in, or just basically the condo, the prices that they're paying are too high. That tells me that people are taking advantage of new people coming out here that don't really know the true value of things. And if there's more and more people doing that, then I wonder what the impact of that will be. If you want to get an idea of how much condos and places should actually cost, check out websites like HipFlat or Rent Hub. They're my two go-to. Fazwaz is another one. But yeah, even on there, some of those I do see people jacking up the prices high, aimed at foreigners moving out here. In terms of general inflation, it's nothing like back in Australia or the US or the UK, like all the inflation that we've had to deal with there. I would just say be really careful when finding a place out here. As an example, the house that I just moved into, we have an open contract over a long period of time. So if I want to stay, if I'm still there in 5 years' time, my rent's still going to be exactly the same as what it is now. The tip is to be careful of people that just want to do year-by-year contracts, and they're going to put the rent up each year, and people that are just charging way too much from the get-go. A question, there was actually a couple questions about recommended jobs for people moving to Thailand and what can you do. If you're coming out here on the digital nomad visa, I think the best option is to do online work or work for a company back in your home country. The pay is typically going to be better. And something to keep in mind is you don't need to earn as much here as you would for a company back home. So you can do online work that's easier, that doesn't necessarily pay as well, that you might not think of doing back home because the pay is not enough, but you can come here and live a very comfortable life on that amount. You can actually live a very comfortable life here on 2,000 US dollars a month, which is what, $500 a week. So you don't need to be earning that much. Obviously, the more you earn, the better your quality of life is going to be. You can still live here on $1,000 a month, but you're just barely sort of surviving at that point. But I think if you can earn anything from 2,000 US a month and up, then you will live a very comfortable life here. So my recommended is to do online work if you can find it, and think outside the box and try and find some little side hustles as well. I've got a bunch of little side hustles, and combined, they all passively earn enough that pretty much covers my rent. Any plans to travel Thailand? There's also a question about doing the Mae Hong Son loop on my motorbike. I've just been super busy with moving, so I haven't done any travel. I haven't really planned a whole lot. I will have quite soon. I'm actually doing a bike trip. It's not the Mae Hong Son loop. I do really want to do that at some point, but I'm actually doing a motorbike road trip with Paddy Doyle, which is cool. I'm really excited for that. I've always wanted to go on a road trip with him. I'm actually still doing a bunch of work to my bike. It's almost finished. It's never ending, but it's almost all finished. And then once I have basically got it all done, then I'll be ready to start doing some road trips. And that's another part of the reason me wanting to get out of the city, because for me to travel anywhere and get out of the city is a nightmare. I hate the first hour, and then I really enjoy it after that. And then when I come home, it's the same thing. I really enjoy the ride of being somewhere else. But then the last hour riding back through the city to get to where I live, it's the last experience I have on the bike, and it leaves me with a bitter taste in my mouth. So lots more Thailand travel. And also, like I said, I'll be getting a car. So I'm going to utilize having the car and the bike. So I'll be able to throw the bike in the back of the car, go drive somewhere, and then jump on the bike and go do a ride. So really excited for that. That is my Thailand travel. So I've got a few little Thailand trips in my mind penciled in. I've got a trip to Phuket coming soon. But in terms of international travel, I'm actually working on a trip at the moment before the end of the year with Dan. Just ironing out all the details for that. That's part of a really big project that we're going to do that's off YouTube, but something that's really cool. Of course, I'll still be making videos and Dan will be with me. People have asked how Dan is. He's doing great, and hopefully you'll see him along for that trip as well. In terms of Dan's channel, he's just gone in a different direction. His online courses do really, really well. He's incredibly successful at that, so he leans into that. He still makes some videos for fun, but that's more around the YouTube side of things. It's not Thailand content or travel content. So working on that trip with Dan, that will be Japan if it happens. If not, I do have a trip to Vietnam that I've been wanting to do. So it'll be one of those two before the end of the year. A question that I think I'm finally ready to answer. What are your long-term goals? So I've never really had long-term, like obviously I want to continue to make videos. I want to be successful and I want to keep progressing at what I do. But in terms of what my long-term goals is, I have no finish line or anywhere that I'm aiming to be. Basically, I'm along for the ride, and whatever that is and whatever direction that takes me in, I'm cool with that. I'm happy living in the moment, and I'm not really striving towards anything. However, recently I've started to want to improve as a filmmaker. Things that interest me are sort of making some bigger projects, some more documentary style. I really enjoy digging in deep and making those documentary videos. So I would love, and whether it's achievable or not, I would love to make a really high quality documentary, either on YouTube or on a different platform. Ideally, it would be really cool to make something that I could sell or make something for another platform. Otherwise, just some really high quality videos that I would put out on YouTube. But just, yeah, pushing more towards being a filmmaker. I already consider myself a filmmaker, but making more of those videos that I really dive into. What's required of this is to be in a good position financially, which I'm finally in, because when you're in the grind of just making YouTube videos to make a living, you just shoot, edit, upload to make the video to earn the money so that you can keep living. I will always make videos. I hope I'm always making videos on YouTube. Even if I end up doing bigger projects or something off that, it would still be fun to make. These are the videos I really enjoy making, so it would be fun to continue doing that. I sat in the worst place for this. I thought it was really nice. This outlook, I've had ants crawling on me and bugs flying around me the entire time. So thank you to everyone that sent in questions. This was a lot of fun, and we'll do one again next month.